If you are thinking about buying or selling real estate in Surrey or Langley, you need to see this. For the first time since 2021, the benchmark home price in Fraser Valley have dropped below $900,000. Not dipped, not flattened, dropped. And now we are officially in a buyer's market. But here is the most important question that no one is answering. Is this the biggest opportunity we have seen in the last 3 years? Or it's the beginning of something much bigger than that? Today, I'm breaking down what exactly is happening in Surrey and Langley real estate market with using real January 2026 number, and most importantly, answering what smart buyers and sellers are doing right now. So let's get into it. If you are new here, I am Chandan Rathod, a local real estate agent with Sutton Fair, primarily working in Surrey and Langley, and I analyze Surrey and Langley local real estate data every month, not just social media opinion or headlines, the actual Fraser Valley board statistics, and more importantly, what they actually means for the real buyer and seller or investor. So let's start with the headline first. The benchmark price across Fraser Valley is now at $897,200. That's down 6.9% from year over year. And that's a price decline for the last 10 consecutive months. It's not just fluctuation, it's a trend. It raises the question, what has just happened? Let's look at the data from Fraser River Valley Board for January 2026. We saw a total sale of 619 in the month of January. That's down 24% year over year, and that's down 33% from December last year. Active listing as of now stands at 7,711, and that's 54% increase on 10-year seasonal average. Let that sink in. Inventory is highest in the recent years, sale is the lowest, and prices are going down month over month. But there is one more factor here that I would like to mention. The active sell to listing ratio is now at 8%, and in a normal market, it's usually between 14 to 18%. And usually when it's lower than 12%, it is considered a buyer's market. So you can see we are currently at 8%, and that's way below the 12% criteria to be considered to a buyer's market. That's why it is a purely buyer market that we are in right now. And this is where it gets more interesting, because there is one more thing that I want you to know, which is average days on market. So average days on market for detached home is 55 days, and for condo it is 53 days, and for townhouse it is now 50 days. That means properties are sitting on market. But why does that matter? So if I give you an example of year 2021 and 2022 market condition, if you are in the market, you probably know that, but if you don't, so in 2021 and 2022, average days on market was somewhere between 8 to 20. You would put a property on the market and it will be gone in 2 weeks. You can compare that to where we are now, which is over 50 days. So that tells you the kind of leverage the buyers have and really how much time they have to make a move. So buyer don't just have more time now, but they also have more negotiation power that they used to have in the last 3 to 4 years, especially after COVID, when property would come on a market and most properties would have multiple offer, and we used to get in this bidding war all the time, and you didn't have any chance to put subjects like subject to inspection or financing, because if you do, somebody else would come with a better offer and they will get the property. So that means subjects are back. So it really gives buyers time and peace of mind to do all their due diligence to make sure the house that they are purchasing is a good one. Those days when we used to see bidding wars, multiple offer are long gone. So sellers are now being forced to adjust their expectation. Otherwise, the properties are just staying on the market. But what does that actually mean for you? So let me break it down in plain English. If you are a buyer, that means you have more leverage, you have time, you have a choice. 3 things buyer have not had in Surrey or Langley in the last few years. And if you are a seller, you cannot price your home based on 2021 and 2022. We really need to be realistic as per the current market situation. That market is gone. We are back to what I call a data driven market. And here's the point that most people are missing. Prices are not crashing. They are correcting back to pre-pandemic levels. And that's a massive difference because panic creates poor decision and data creates strategy. So this brings us to the next question. If prices are down, why buyers are still hesitant? This is mostly because of the economic uncertainty, and because of that, buyers are waiting on the sideline. Just like in stock market, when there are economic uncertainty and fear, people don't usually buy; they panic sell. So that's the similar situation that we are seeing in the housing market right now, not just Surrey and Langley, but for the most part of the country. But demand suppressed does not mean demand has been eliminated. Demand will come back when economics factors such as inflation rate, interest rate, or unemployment rate will improve. Demand will come back, as you know, as it usually happen in an economic cycle. When this suppressed demand continue to build up, there comes a point where demand surpasses the supply, and when that happens, that means we start entering into the hot market. This is what happened in 2021 and 2022. When we have more demand than supply, that's what creates a hot market. And that's a complete economic cycle. Every bear market is followed by a bull market, and every bull market is followed by a bear market. This is exactly how the market works, and this is how the market has always worked in the past. So the smart buyer, savvy investor, or old money, whatever you call them, they don't wait for the headlines to be good or for the headlines to say the market is hot again. They know their number very well, or inside out, and they know what market they are in or when they want to enter into the market. So they buy long term, and they don't just buy, the position long term for the next 5 to 10 years. But then what buyers and sellers do? Let's break it down into two groups separately for buyer and sellers. Let's talk about buyers first. If you are a buyer in Surrey or Langley, you have leverage, you have time, you have negotiation power. So you don't need to rush, but do not try to time the market, because you cannot, or nobody can actually. In this market where properties are sitting on an average 15 days on the market, you can take your time to see the properties and make an informed decision. You can also put subjected offers such as subject to inspection or financing. That really gives you peace of mind to make sure that the property you are buying is the right one for you. And because there are not many buyers, that really gives you a good leverage in terms of negotiation. And sellers are being very supportive in this market compared to the previously what we have seen in 2021 and 2022. So this is a strategic buying territory and not an emotional bidding one. So if you plan to hold a property for 5 years or more, this is a really good strategic opportunity for you that we haven't seen for a long time in Surrey or Langley. And if you are a seller, first of all, this is not all bad news, okay? But you really need to be effective in your strategy, starting with why you are selling and where you would be going after you sell. Those two things would really help you make the decision, should you make a move in this market or just wait it out. But as a seller, you must need these three things. Number one is pricing. This is not the 2021 to 2023 market, so you cannot price is inappropriately, because if you do, your property is gonna sit on the market forever, like all the thousands of properties that are there right now, and you won't even have the right buyer coming to even just take a look at your house. So you need to be attractive, or more importantly, aggressive in your pricing if you want to stand out in today's market, if you really want to sell. Number two is professional marketing. Unlike in hot market where you don't need much focus on marketing because people will come and you will eventually have multiple offer, you really need the best marketing strategy in this market so that your properties are in front of the right people and as much people as possible, and you have enough traffic coming in to see the house, and and that probably raises your chances of getting an offer. But if you don't price appropriately, no matter how good your marketing strategy is, you won't see the interested buyer coming to your property, or you would barely see any traffic. Number third, patience. Everything sells for the right price at the right time. Always remember that, and the best you can do is have patience. But I will say this again, overpricing right now doesn't test the market, especially in the slow market. It kills the momentum. And in this market, first 14 days are the most important one. That's where you stand out as a value. And now let's talk about the bigger 2026 question that everyone is asking me. Is this the bottom? So here is the honest answer. Nobody knows. No one knows the exact bottom. If you have heard investors like Warren Buffett, Jack Bogle, or any other savvy investor, they keep telling this all the time. Do not try to guess when the bottom will be in any market. So if they couldn't do it, I think we are better not trying. But this is what we know. We know sales are lowest, inventory are highest, and confidence is low. This combination historically has never lasted forever. Market moves in cycle and not in straight line. So if the rate stabilize and consumer confidence is back, 2026 could flip faster than people expect. But if economic pressure increases, we can see the price going down further. But this is not the 2008 situation where all hell broke loose, because lending standards are much better. There are no structural risk as we had in the 2008 crisis. So this looks like more of a correction, and market is correcting itself after the long bull market that we have seen after COVID. So this is not a collapse. So if you are even thinking about making a move in 2026, the best thing you can do is not rush it. The most important thing you need in this market is the best strategy for you. So whether you are upsizing, downsizing, investing, relocating, your timing, financing, negotiation strategy matter now more than ever. If you want a data-driven plan specific to your situation in Surrey or Langley, please feel free to reach out. I will walk you through the numbers and your timing scenarios specific to your situation. No pressure, just clarity. And in my next video, I am breaking down something even more specific. What neighborhood are the ones that are seeing the biggest price drop, or what are the ones that are holding value quietly? Because not all markets are moving in the same way. If you want real analysis and not noise, subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks.